Once, there was a sage who lived in a small hut near a village. Though he seemed kind and wise, he was actually quite cunning and greedy. The villagers admired him and thought he was a true sage. They came to him for advice. They often offered him plenty of food and money. They didn't know that he was just pretending to be a sage, so that he could get enough food and money easily, and thus he enjoy a comfortable life without working hard. The village landlord, like everyone else, did not know the truth about the sage. Impressed by him, he would often invite the sage to his home and serve him tasty meals. Once the incidents of theft saw a sudden increase in the village. All the villagers were worried about the increasing number of thefts. The landlord was worried for his jewelry, so he took all his jewelry and reached the sage's hut. He said,
"Sir, you know about the sudden increase in theft cases in recent days. So I have taken my jeweler to hide here. The thieves will never suspect of the costly jewelry being hidden here."
The sage replied,
"As you wish. You can hide them wherever you like."
Then the landlord dug a hole under a banyan tree and hid his jewelry. He then covered the hole properly. The sage was watching everything. After the landlord's departure, he immediately went to the banyan tree. He dug out the jewelry and hid it elsewhere. The next day, the sage reached the landlord's house. At that time, the landlord was sitting in his lawn with one of his friends. On reaching there, the sage said,
"I'm going on a pilgrimage, which I had planned long time back, but wasn't getting time. Now it is time to put my plan into action. Let me take your leave."
The sage set out for the pilgrimage. The landlord told his friend that he had hidden his jewelry in the sage's hut. Hearing this, the friend said,
"Friend, this sage does not look to be an honest person. You should go to the hut and check whether the jewelry is safe or not."
The landlord agreed and reached the sage's hut with his friend. He didn't find the jewelry where he had hidden it. The landlord was dumbfounded. He could not understand anything.
"Friend, my jewelry is not at its place. I myself had hidden it here. What shall I do now?"
cried the landlord. Consoling him, his friend said,
"Probably The sage has taken away the jewelry. Come and look for him.
So saying, they ran to look for the sage. The sage had not gone very far. The landlord and his friend caught the sag and asked,
Tell us, where have you hidden the jewelry?
The sage acted as if he did not understand anything. He said,
Jewelry? Which jewelry? What are you talking about? I am unable to understand anything.
The landlord said,
Tell us the truth, or else you would be thrashed into a squashy pulp.
Unable to escape, the sage gave up the jewelry and left the area and never returned. The landlord learned a tough lesson of life: that never trust anyone blindly. Moral: never trust someone blindly. Even those who seem kind might not be what they appear. Long ago, a boy named Adam lived in a village near the desert. He traveled to the city to study under a wise teacher. After finishing his education, Adam returned to his village. But he missed his teacher very much. He wanted to visit his teacher in the city. However, for 2 years, he couldn't find a way to go. One day, Adam's friend Charles rushed over with an excited look on his face.
Adam, I have good news.
He exclaimed.
What is it?
Adam asked.
Your teacher is traveling nearby, through the desert.
Charles said.
You can meet him there.
Adam's eyes lit up with joy.
Really? That's amazing.
Yes.
Charles nodded.
He has camped just 4 days' journey from here.
Adam rushed to his mother, excitement written all over his face.
Mother, I got news that my teacher is traveling through the nearby desert.
He said eagerly.
I want to meet him. Will you give me permission?
Adam's mother smiled and said,
You can go, my son. Let's prepare for your trip.
Thank you, Mother.
Adam replied.
I will make your tiffin.
She said.
You can eat it while you are traveling.
Adam nodded and started packing. Adam's mother went to the kitchen and made some sandwiches. She placed them in a tiffin box and then returned to Adam.
Here is your tiffin and a container of water,
she said, handing him the items. Adam took the tiffin and the sturdy leather container.
Thank you, Mother.
He said. He took his things and set off on his journey. Now Adam was on the journey to the nearby desert to visit his teacher and other respected elders of the teacher's tribe. As he passed through the desert town, he discovered a spring with crystal clear water. Adam kneeled down by the spring, cupped his hands, and drank the cool water. After quenching his thirst, he said to himself,
This water is so sweet. I should fill my container with it.
Adam poured out the old water and filled the container with fresh water from the spring. He wanted to carry this water for his teacher and other tribe members. The teacher and his caravan halted in the desert before starting their journey again. After a 4-day journey, the young man reached the desert, where his teacher had set up the camp. Adam approached his teacher with a smile.
Sir,
He began.
On my way, I found a stream with really fresh and sweet water. I brought this water with me in this container for you.
He offered water from his container to the teacher. The teacher took a deep breath and drank water. He then smiled warmly and thanked his student for carrying the sweet water for him.
Thank you, Adam. This water tastes great. I'm really grateful you brought it.
Adam replied,
I'm happy you like it. Sir, I found it on my way and thought you would enjoy it.
The young man left the water-filled container for other members of the teacher's tribe and returned to his village with a contented heart. Later, the teacher let another student taste the water from the leather container. Soon as he took a sip, he spat it out.
Sir, this water is awful. It's not fresh at all.
The water had become stale because of the old leather container. The student asked his teacher,
Master, the water was foul. Why did you pretend to like it?
The teacher replied,
You only tasted the water. I tasted the gift. The water-filled leather container brought by my student was an act of loving kindness, and nothing could be sweeter. Learn to be grateful for the gifts you receive.
Moral: be grateful for the thought behind a gift. Even if a gift isn't perfect, the love and kindness behind it make it special.